Why motivation fails and what you need instead. Mel Robbins. When the fire fades. Ethan Cole stood in front of the full-length mirror in his apartment, dressed for success but feeling completely hollow inside. 6 months earlier, his coffee business had exploded. Grounded at home subscriptions were shipping worldwide. His podcasts had gained traction. His Instagram DMs overflowed with praise and partnership offers. From the outside, he looked like a man on fire, but inside, the fire was fading. He wasn't waking up early anymore. His journaling was sporadic. His team had noticed the drop in energy. Ethan kept saying he just needed more motivation, but it wasn't coming. That's when he stumbled on something. Mel Robbins said in a video, "You're never going to feel like it." It hit him like a lightning bolt. He realized he was depending on a feeling instead of building a system, and that shift away from waiting for motivation and toward relying on decision and action would become the next turning point in his life. Motivation. It's a liar. Ethan had built the first leg of his success on a wave of passion and personal growth. Robbins, podcasts, books, events. But now, his growth plateaued and the early thrill wore off. He kept telling himself, "I'm just burned out. I need to get inspired again. I should watch something motivational." So he did, but it never lasted. One morning, lying in bed scrolling, he came across a Mel Robbins clip again. This time, she said, "Motivation is garbage. It's never there when you need it." Ethan sat up, she continued. "If you only act when you feel like it, your life will always stay small." That phrase stuck like glue to his mind. He realized he had built a ritual, but not a discipline, and the difference between the two was costing him growth. The 5-second rule. Later that day, Ethan dove into Mel Robbins' core principle, the 5-second rule. That the idea was simple. Whenever you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill the idea. Count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. No waiting for motivation. No debate. No delay. He tried it that very moment. He had been putting off recording a new podcast episode for a week. He wanted it to be perfect. So he whispered, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. He stood up, walked 2. The mic hit record and said, "This is the most uncomfortable episode I've ever done," because I almost didn't do it. Then he spoke for 20 minutes straight. No script, no filter. Just truth. That episode became one of his most shared pieces of content. It was raw, real, relatable, and it reminded him of something Mel Robbins taught. You don't need to feel confident. You need to act with courage. The trap of waiting. A week later, Ethan met with Maria, his now operations manager. She was worried. "We've been coasting," she said. "We haven't launched anything." "New in 2 months, you've been distracted." Ethan nodded. She wasn't wrong. He had been hiding behind busy work emails, minor design tweaks, calendar organizing, things that felt productive but weren't moving the needle. He was waiting for inspiration, for energy, for clarity. Mel's voice echoed in his head. "If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never do it." So Ethan stopped waiting. That same night, he wrote a rough concept for a bold new idea. Grounded Leader, a coaching circle for new entrepreneurs. Blending coffee with mindset training. The old Ethan would have spent 3 months planning. This Ethan. He posted the offer online 24 hours later. It wasn't perfect, but it got results. Action over. Anxiety. The first Grounded Leader session was a mess. The Zoom link didn't work. His slides froze. And midway through, his dog barked nonstop. In the background, but the attendees stayed. And one of them, a nervous 23-year-old named Taylor, messaged him after, "You have no idea how much I needed that. I didn't realize I was holding myself back with overthinking." Ethan chuckled, because that's exactly what he'd been doing. 2, he remembered another line from Mel. "You're not a procrastinator. You have a habit of procrastinating." Habits. This wasn't about motivation anymore. This was about rewiring behavior. So Ethan began to study habits like a scientist. He tracked triggers, monitored reactions, built a simple rule. Every time he felt resistance, he would count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it anyway. His anxiety didn't vanish, but his action increased, and that's what mattered. The myth of inspiration. One evening, Ethan joined a panel for a small business summit. The final question from the audience was, "How do you stay motivated every day?" Ethan laughed, but not mocked. Warmly, he answered, "I don't. I just stopped relying on it." He went on to share how the most successful people he knew didn't wake up inspired. They just moved. They built systems. They built rituals. They made decisions in motion. He told them about the 5-second rule. He told them about fear being a signal not to stop, but to start. The crowd didn't applaud wildly, but they nodded. They got it, because they had all been waiting too. Building the discipline muscle. Over the next 90 days, Ethan made one goal: build discipline like a muscle. He mapped a plan. 5 a.m. wake-ups, no matter what. 30 minutes of focused creation before emails. One bold action per day, whether he felt like it or not. He failed often, but each time he applied Mel's concept: forgive fast. You start faster. He realized discipline was never about perfection. It was about repetition, about pushing through the moment of resistance. And over time, he no longer needed motivation. He had created momentum. When doubt creeps back in, but even with systems, Ethan wasn't invincible. Night, a major YouTube collaboration fell through. The partner backed out last minute, citing misalignment in brand values. Ethan took it personally. He spiraled for hours. What if he wasn't as good as he thought? What if this was the beginning of the end? That night, instead of drinking or numbing out with Netflix, he opened his journal and asked himself, what's real? What's fear? What can I do in the next 5 seconds? He wrote one email, a pitch to a different creator. Then he went to bed. By morning, he had a reply: let's talk this week. Once again, action beat anxiety, not because he felt ready, but because he moved anyway. Leading with realness, Ethan began integrating Mel's philosophy into his brand. His Instagram stories became more honest. His podcast featured episodes like "Motivation is a Lie, My Worst Launch Ever and What I Learned." While you're waiting too long to start, he created a short email course, 5 Days to Action, with short morning challenges based on the 5-second rule. People loved it. More than that, they shared it. He started hearing things like, "You helped me finally post my first product. I launched my offer because of your countdown tip. You gave me permission to stop waiting for the stars to align." But Ethan knew the truth. They had given themselves permission. He had just reminded them. How beyond the business, at a dinner with Maria and his leadership team, they talked about expansion, second coffee blend line, a tech integration, a wellness series. Maria paused and asked Ethan, "Where do you want to go from here?" He thought for a long moment. Then he said, "I want to help people take action on the life they keep postponing." That became his new vision. Not just coffee. Just content catalysts. Ethan wasn't a motivator. He was a movement maker, and every part of his brand began to reflect that. The new standard. 1 year after his first podcast about the 5-second rule, Ethan spoke on stage at a sold-out entrepreneurial conference in Miami. He shared his story of burnout, waiting, excuses, and change. He walked the audience through their limiting narratives. He made them count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. The room exploded with energy because they felt it too. That spark of truth, that push to move, that knowing that if you don't act now, the moment dies. He ended his speech with the line that defined his new life: "Stop waiting, start moving. You're not tired, you're just untrained." And the standing ovation wasn't for the speech, it was for the truth. You don't need more time. You need a decision. If you're reading this or watching this and feeling stuck, like Ethan once did, if you keep saying tomorrow, if you keep waiting to feel ready, then hear this: you don't need more motivation. You need a moment of courage, a moment of movement, a moment where you decide. So try it right now. Think of the thing you've been avoiding: the call, the video, the pitch, the application. Now whisper to yourself: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. and do it. Because your future is not waiting for you to feel ready, it's waiting for you to act anyway.